Hi, friends. Hi, friends. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. Well, it's morning here in Arizona. It's 11 o'clock. I noticed some people commenting about the time. Time hasn't changed. It's still 11 o'clock here in Arizona. And if you're on the East Coast of the United States, it's going to be 3 hours difference. And then depending on where you are from around the world. Anyway, if I could get a quick sound check from someone, that would be wonderful. And we'll get started in 5 minutes. Got a lot to cover, and I hope you're ready because it's going to be a very interesting time, no doubt about it. And so, thank you, Yaniv. Appreciate that. And we are definitely entering the transformational time that I've predicted, and many others have as well, based on the astrology, based on everything that I've been tuning into. So it's going to be really interesting, and I'm already seeing everything accelerating as well. And it will continue to accelerate, especially as we go into 2025. But I'm going to cover some of the basics here about what's going on in terms of how to prepare for these changes that are coming. And some of the stuff I'm going to talk about is basic and just common sense. But I am definitely seeing an acceleration of events that are occurring. It's like things have been unleashed, things are moving forward, and so I have got to, share some of this information for you. And by the way, I have the private community, and I talk a lot more on that in the private community. And by matter of fact, today is one of the days I do a Zoom call every week with my members, and we're going to. Right after this call, after this video, I'm going to be jumping on the call with them, the Zoom call, and we interact. And this week, I'm going to be teaching astrology. So, for those of you that are interested, there's a link down below. I'm also, my team has also found free offers, and there's a free offer down below for a numerology report. So if you guys are interested and you decide to purchase it, great. We make a little tiny amount on those reports, but we're not affiliated with them. They're just offers that we could use. And I'm always, I want good content. I want accurate content. So my team has absolutely worked hard on finding content that is really good. And because I look it over and I get the reports myself, and so I know what they're saying. So check it out below. There's a numerology link down below for you guys who are interested. And if you're interested in the community, absolutely check it out. I mean, there's a lot of information, a lot of value in the community. You get me every week, Zoom call every week. And then you learn astrology. And then there's a lot of posts in there, other members, including myself, who are posting and interacting on events and stuff that's going on. We've got, it's growing tremendously. So I'm grateful for all of that. So anyway, we're just going to give it a few more minutes, 2 more minutes, and then we're going to hop on and I'm going to start the presentation. Okay. So I'm just looking at the comments here. Hi, everyone. UK. I see UK is in the house. Who else? Wales, Texas. Fantastic. Appreciate you guys all being here. And by the way, I appreciate all you guys that tuned into the presentation with me and Jason Brashears from Archaics. I mean, that was fantastic. I enjoyed every minute of it. Jason is a great person, knowledge, wisdom. He really grasped, the understanding of who we are. And so I appreciate all of you that tuned into it. And I'm sure we're going to be doing another one soon as well. But it was wonderful talking to him, and so I really enjoyed that. But anyway, I'm noticing also in the news a lot of things that are escalating, and I'm going to talk about that as well. I'm going to take some questions at the end of this presentation. I'm going to do about a half hour, and then I'm going to spend about 15 minutes taking questions from the community and from this, from YouTube. And so if you have any questions, please address them here. If you're in my community watching, because I know a lot of the members are watching from my community, they'll post it in the community, and my moderators are standing by to take those questions. So, I'm going to answer as many questions as possible because a lot of people want to know, and they're curious and they're just looking for hope. They're looking for answers. They're looking for guidance. And I totally understand that. But I'm doing my best, and so many others are doing the same thing. But I'm doing my best, and I have to focus on the community because there I could speak freely. I don't have to filter myself and watch what I say. Anyway, let's get started here. We're at the 5-minute mark. So let me get started and tell you what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a progression of activity in the news that is disturbing and alarming, just as predicted, especially having to do with these gangs that are here in the country now that have been coming in here for the last couple of years, and they're starting to cause the chaos. Now, this is important because if you live in one of these major cities, you're going to hear about it in the news, 24/7 for 7 days. So what I'm seeing is the escalation of the chaotic events that are going to take place. And a lot of them are going to be on a local level. So these gang members taking over apartments. They're not just doing it in Colorado. They're doing it in Texas, too, in the oil fields. Okay, this is what I'm reading on the news and, not the mainstream because that's all, hogwash. But a lot of platforms are now reporting the real news. And so it's important to understand that this is what they're planning. They're planning to sabotage and cause chaos. But most importantly, and this is the thing I need to get across to everyone, raise the fear factor. Do you get that, friends? They're trying to raise the fear factor as high as possible. What happens when you're in fear, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. What am I going to do? Oh my God. The world's coming to an end. Oh my God. People overreact. And then they start not thinking straight. So one of the things that I'm going to advocate here is I want you to back off on the news, especially mainstream, because that is absolute garbage. These people are actors basically putting out an agenda to keep people in fear. Do you not see that, my friends? Do you not see the chaos that the mainstream media and the narrative is promoting? Fear, fear, anger, fear. Pit people against each other. Fear, fear, fear. So the first thing I'm going to suggest is turn off the news. Turn off this garbage that they're putting out. Okay, so the first thing on the list, is to turn off the news and give your brain a break from all of the chaos and stupidity going on. And it's only going to escalate. This is like kind of watching a train wreck. It's devastating. It's horrific, but you can't, you're driving by a train wreck and you can't stop. But look, I understand. But remember, they're feeding off of your energy, your fear, your doubt, your insecurities. This is what they're doing. So please, the first thing on the list here of solutions is turn off the news, even if you do it for, 5-6 hours a day. The second thing on the list is don't obsess over these stories. Don't obsess over your phone. Don't obsess over information. We're entering the information age. All this Aquarian energy, Pluto is going to return back into Aquarius. And over the past couple of years, there's been a strong sort of Aquarian energy. If you understand astrology, Aquarian has to do with knowledge and wisdom and wanting to know. The Aquarian energy wants to know. And what's happening is because things are uncertain and there is this, this transitional period, so many people are glued to their phones. I find myself, I have 2 phones and I do the same thing from time to time. I get a little bored or I'm done doing what I need to do. Right away, I go to the phone, see if anything's going on. But then again, I'm in the business of informing and predictions and so on. So I got to keep an eye on that stuff. But at the same time, I do not obsess over it. I'm not going to sit there and read every little story or go, over everything and be obsessive over it. No, don't do that. So another solution is stay away from the social media platforms and give yourself a break because the energy and the news is going to overwhelm your senses. And that's one of their strategies, friends. Whoever's running this show, on the worldwide scale, whatever it is, whether you call it the simulation, the matrix, or the psychopaths that are, taking advantage of everything, they know what they're doing. And one of their strategies is to constantly bombard everyone with information and misinformation. There's a lot of people in the truther community that are phonies, and they are putting out information to change the agenda, to change the narrative, to keep people thinking. And so one of the ways they trap you is in trapping you in overwhelming your senses and constantly barraging you with information. And then you become like an information junkie. Okay. Oh, I got to know this. Oh, what happened here? What's going on there? And then all of a sudden, your consciousness is not your own anymore. You're kind of tuned into the AI. You become part of the AI. Okay. So these are ways, the most important ways to stay away from the chaos and the craziness that's going to happen. And it's going to continue. As you know, I've predicted this. This is all going to go into about May of next year, accelerating with certain points, accelerating higher and higher. And it's already started. Since we're going through Virgo right now, Virgo's a nervous energy, and we're curious and we want to perfect. So the energy affects us more when we're in the Virgo season because it affects our nervous system, which is the system that picks up all the energy. And so we're starting to see the chaotic moves. Now, I've already done or working on the astrology for October. The end of October looks pretty chaotic as well. And especially going into November when we have the Mars opposing Pluto in astrology. So what I'm suggesting is there are times that the energy is going to be off the charts. No doubt about it. Okay. So the other solution that I would suggest is when you feel the energy, nervous energy, anxiety, stress, put the electronics away, put the phone down, stay away from your computer, go outside, go into nature. Now, for those of you that live in cities and apartment buildings, go to your local parks. Go somewhere where there's a natural setting. Go to the zoo, even though it's sad to watch animals behind bars. Go someplace that is natural, okay? Because this helps the psyche. It helps you understand that you are connected to the natural world. This is exactly what I do. I'm not telling you anything that I do not do here, okay? I literally walk every day around this park, or I go to the nearby park, or I go to the lake. There's a couple of lakes now by me. And I will go there for a couple of hours and just hang out. I try and leave the phone in the car, not touching it. And so when you go into nature, there's a different mindset. You cannot tell me, if you decided to go into the woods, let's just say, and I remember the first time going into the woods, it was like magical, and walk through the woods, and all of a sudden your senses get turned on and you feel such a connection to something. And it's the trees, it's the energy of the trees, the vibration, the life that they are, and you feel the connection. And right away I knew that this was something very important. This was an early age. So this is what I try and do. So I'm a big advocate of being around water, in water, or being in nature, or being around grass, or being around animals. Animals are natural. The animals, they're just pure love and energy that want to experience life. The more you're around this, the more you realize you're connected to it. Okay, so there's solution number 3 there is be around nature. These are the most important. These first 3 are the most important things that you could do. Number 4 is take better care of yourself. Not just the mental and energy, but food, water, rest. I've had many conversations with people who say, oh my God, the energy is so heavy and it's draining. Yes, it is. We're dealing with cosmic energy, and we're dealing with a vibration of everyone being, tuned into what's going on. What's going to happen here? What's going to happen with the election? What's going to happen there? This is all creating a vibration, friends, especially with the politics. Okay? Stay away as much as you can from the political nonsense. It is another way of controlling your energy. Okay, we know Mr. T, we know Kamala, we know Joe Biden, we could see right through all of them. Okay, and this is being orchestrated on purpose to show you something, to reveal something. And I could see it clearly that these people have been put in these positions in order to do something. And it's clear. Even Mr. T is not by himself. He's got a whole team behind him and the people that brought him in. Okay, and it's the same with Kamala and Joe Biden and everyone else. And when you look at the other politicians, the same thing. You always have to look for the organization or the people behind them who put them in. They have an agenda. And this is what we're witnessing right now. So don't get wrapped up in the words and the silliness. We could see through them. It's like a clown show to me. Okay, so take care of your bodies. Rest while you need it. If it feels heavy, lay down for 15 minutes. This is what I do. When the energy is too heavy, I literally lay down in my bedroom back there for about 15 minutes or so, not sleeping or anything like that. Just lay down, because you're letting the blood and the oxygen go horizontal, which is feeding all the cells. Okay? Because basically when it comes down to it, our cells need two things: oxygen and water. Okay, which is kind of one and the same, because when you drink water, the body breaks down the oxygen and it feeds the cells. So you need to rest while you rest. Okay, when the energy is good, take advantage of it. The other thing is food. Make sure that you're eating, what gives you energy and makes you feel healthy. If you're addicted to coffee and caffeine, not good. Your body's always going to feel nervous and anxiety and stress. So the other way of preparing is watch what you put into your body. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this, because I know a lot of you want to know, because I've had so many questions over the years. How do I protect myself? How do I protect myself? So I've got a list over here I'm looking over. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is do little things that make you happy. These small accomplishments are huge, because we're not sure where we're going and how this transition is going to play itself out. If you do little things on a daily basis that make you happy, or maybe an accomplishment of some kind, and you go, all right, I had to do that today. This was great. Accomplished that. So, like, for instance, I had to change the oil on the generator on the RV. Worked myself up, said, all right, I know what to do here. I've done it before. Let me get this done. So I allowed a couple of hours to just be in that mindset, in that zone of doing this, and knowing that I had to do it, for just preparing and maintenance. And after I was done, I was like, cleaned my hands. I was like, great, that was fun, because I broke the pattern. I broke the day in and day out activity. So do things that make you happy. Do little things that you could achieve. I don't care if it's watering plants or gardening or spending time with the kids or whatever it is, something natural, something that you feel that you could do, and it's fun, and it could be as simple as going to a nearby town and having lunch or dinner. I mean, it doesn't matter. Do little things that make you happy. This is part of the solutions. And as we go through this crazy time, still continue to do these things. Nothing's going to change there. Okay? Now, when we go into this November here in the United States, obviously there's an agenda that whatever happens, and I've said this before, no matter what happens to the election, or if we don't even have an election, there's going to be chaos. I've said this. A lot of other people have said the same thing, because that's what they want. Remember, the agenda is not, to be peaceful. It's about causing chaos. It's about taking people's energy and scrambling it up and causing, as much chaos as possible. So whatever happens in the election, it's going to be chaotic. No matter who wins or what happens, it's going to be chaotic. Okay? But where is this chaos going to occur? Almost all of it is going to occur around major cities. Okay? Around major cities. They're the targets. And all of these illegals that have come in, that are in these gangs and all that stuff, they are now being implemented to cause as much chaos as possible. So what do you do as the average citizen? As I told you, stay out of fear. First thing you do is you protect your body, mind, and your spirit. I am not going to feed into the fears. I'm not going to overwhelm myself. If you're in these situations you find yourself in, pay extra attention to what you're doing. When you're driving, pay attention to other drivers all around you. When you're in a store, pay attention to who's around you. You see, if your energy starts to pick up on some weird stuff, that's your intuition telling you something's not right here. And pay attention. Okay? This is what you do. And so these are the simple things that you could do. Now, when we get into the other stuff, I've gotten a lot of questions over, what do I do with my money? And what should I move? And food and shelter. I've advocated this for a while, and I've done the same thing, is because of the change that they want to implement, which is going to a digital currency. And I've said this, they're going to be multiple currencies. Food prices and inflation and everything else will continue to rise. The only reason they're not rising right now is because we're in political season. So everything's calm. We don't want to disrupt anything. We don't want to disrupt anything. But as soon as this election process is over and we see the direction we're going in, you will start to see food prices and everything else go up. Okay? Even if Mr. T gets in, he could only do so much. Like I've said before, release the oil up in the up north in Alaska and Canada and all that stuff, which will help a little bit. But believe me, the other side's not going to lay down. The psychopaths that run the planet are going to keep pushing the agenda of destroying. Okay, and that means the thing in your arm, another planned event, and so what you do is you stock up on necessities, toilet paper, dry food. And what I mean is not, 20 years worth. I'm talking about 6 months, 3 to 6 months of extra supplies while the prices are good. I've done the same thing with the parts that I need to maintain this RV, oil filters and, all kinds of other things. Because when I bought them, the prices have almost like gone up a third on everything. You see what I'm saying? So this is what prepare smart, be smart. Okay, I need this much. I need 3 to 6 months worth of, and I've said this before, rice and beans. You could live off of rice and beans. It's the cheapest way. You can just boil some water, have some matches and create a little fire outside if you can't afford it. I mean, it's so thrifty. All right, rice and beans, anything that'll last a period of time. And just put that away in your closet or your pantry or whatever. And you go, okay, I got this. And God forbid I can't get to the store or there's an economic crash where we can't use our credit cards and all this other nonsense. Okay. So supplies as something that is just being smart. I mean, the older generations, this is what they did. They stored up on food because they knew the winter was coming. So this is what we're doing right now. If we know a storm is coming, let's say you live in Florida and you know these hurricanes are coming. Do you not prepare, right? You if you're going to stay in place, you protect your windows, you have the supplies, you have your flashlights, you have your food, all of this other stuff. Same thing here. We're going to have a period that's going to be a little rough. I'm going to be honest with you. And that includes maybe not being able to go to the store and get supplies, or, there's a power outage somewhere, whatever caused it. And so it's going to be very important to be in a safe place with supplies. The other thing I would advocate is, depending on where you live, know your neighbors well. Because, when stuff happens, some neighbors just lose their marbles because the stress levels is through the roof. So know your neighbors well. Know your family members well. If stuff happens, prepare now. Okay, let's say we have a power outage for a week. What are you going to do? You see, do you have flashlights? Do you have supplies? Do you have water? And so it's just being smart to prepare in these simple ways. Very simple. This is not, oh my God, end of the world kind of stuff. No, this is a transitional period. And especially this goes for the main cities, people in the main cities, because this is what I see coming. The major cities are, and the outskirts of the major cities, these are the areas. Things related to power infrastructures, gas stations, supply centers. These are all areas that are targets. Okay, and especially with that last news story in Texas, they were in the oil fields. They were going after truck drivers in the oil fields and causing chaos in the oil fields. They know oil is definitely something that we need on a regular basis. So have supplies, be ready, protect yourself in some way, and so the other thing that I would suggest in the solutions here, especially having to do with money. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, and so take this with a grain of salt, but I can only tell you what I've done. Do not bank with the big criminal banks. All of the big criminal banks is where these are the entities that are controlling society, and then there's people above them. So if you don't feed into their energy or feed into their system, guess what? They're going to have a tougher time. You understand? So try not to bank with the big criminal institutions. use credit unions, use smaller community banks as much as possible. This is my suggestion to you. Now, the other thing I'm going to suggest is if you can, take money out of the banks and store it in your house, hidden in your house, in a fireproof safe or a fireproof bag or whatever it is. Store money in your house. And only you and maybe your spouse or a close loved one knows where it is. Because the big criminal banks could shut down the doors any minute, any day, and go, oh, there's a power outage. Oh, that solar flare came in and knocked out our infrastructure. Oh, you can't get to the bank. You see what I'm saying? So this is going to be very important to have cash at home. And so, keep what you need to pay your bills, but keep money at home. Go to your bank, pull out a few thousand if you have it, and store it at home. Now, the other thing I've advocated for others is gold and silver coins, especially silver coins, because they are actual silver and the value, does not go down. You could still buy the same amount of product that you can, let's say, 75 years ago with a silver coin or a gold coin. So many people have asked me where I've gotten mine, sdbullion.com. Now, I have nothing to do with them, but I've bought many products from them over the years, sdbullion.com. That's where I've gotten mine. I trust them. They come delivered in little packages. Everything checks out. It's all good. So you get silver eagles or any form of silver or junk silver, whatever it is, you have something of value that you could exchange with others. You see, gold is for those that have lots of money. And, people with lots of money are smart. They have been buying gold for years because that's real wealth. That's real, it maintains its wealth. This paper that we circulate is worthless. It keeps losing its value, you see, and there's nothing backing it. So protect your assets with something real and tangible. Now, if you own real estate, do not sell it. What are these big criminal banks and billionaires doing? Buying up land, right? Buying up property, buying up assets, real assets. So if you own any of this stuff, don't sell it. That's my suggestion. And this is not just me saying this. This is a lot of the professional money planners have been saying this for years. And so safety and protection, surround yourself with people that get it. They understand that there's a massive change happening right now, and they're not feeding into the fears. That's important right now, you see? And so, again, I'm just talking to the average person here that understands this. I know that everyone's situation is different. So if you can, or if you have the ability to move outside of these major cities, I highly suggest it. 40, 50 miles outside of the cities. Get to know your neighbors in those communities, the farmers, the farmers markets. Know where the water is, where there are streams, where there are places that you could, get water. This is also very important. And so, the other thing is, some people have asked me, well, I don't have anybody, or I don't have much money, whatever. Pool your resources, pool your energy, pool yourselves together with people of like-mindedness. Okay? This is why, I have my private community, is because everyone on there is pretty much on the same page. They know what's going on. They know what's happening, and they could talk to each other. They could share information with each other. You see, this is what's the future is going to be about, these digital communities. And that's what I'm seeing here, because people want to be in, certain locations, and they want to connect with people around the world that get it. And believe me, there's millions of people around the world that understand all of this. They understand what's happening to them. That this system, or this AI simulation matrix, who's being run by psychopaths, wants to destroy. Now remember, destruction is a part of life. Nature destroys things on purpose. A storm comes in, it devastates an area to rebuild it again. Everything in this universe is cyclical, friends, including our bodies. Every cell dies and gets reborn every so many months. You see, everything is cyclical. So there's nothing to be afraid of here. It's all an illusion. It's just the fear porn. Fear, 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 stress. Oh, you're not this, you're this, you're different agenda. You're a different, I feel sorry for the young kids, because they're being born into a time frame where they don't have the same guidance as the older generations, and they're being influenced by this uncertain energy. In other words, the energy that's coming in has them being influenced by things like, I'm not sure who I am. I just know I'm some sort of spirit in this body, and I'm not going to be connected to any known labels. So I'm not a girl, I'm not a boy, I'm not this. In other words, they come in and they want to be different. When I look at these folks that are transgender and LGBTQ and all this other stuff, basically what they're saying is, I don't want to fit into the normal, crazy, conservative society. And I mean conservative, I mean natural world, because we all have this natural world in us, to feed ourselves, to clothe ourselves, to have different experiences. But a lot of people don't see it that way. They see it as, I want to be different. I am different. My energy is different. I don't want to fit in. And these kids are being, unfortunately, conditioned by their school systems and the lack of guidance into what's real and what's not real. And their brains are being basically taken over by the AI. So one of the biggest concerns that I have is all these younger generations, they might as well, put a cell phone in the kid's hand when they're born, because that's what's going to happen. And that's when the AI and the simulation basically has them. Okay. So what I'm suggesting here is, do not lose your humanity. Do not understand. Do not lose the understanding of who you really are. You are a spirit in the physical suit having the experience. Okay. And the natural world is extremely important for our well-being psychologically and our physical well-being. Okay. So these are the solutions that I've given you. I know they're basic, but the most important thing I want to get across is here that I want you to take a break, balance all the news and balance all the social media with the nature, with the natural world, with things that, remind you of who you are. That's more important. It's about balance. The universe is about balance. This entire reality, what I've discovered over the years, is about balance. Think about that for a second. Look at all the polarities that the universe has provided. Up, down, boy, girl, black, white, as above, so below, so within, so without, positive, negative. Everything the universe is doing is trying to balance equations. You see that? The same with nature and life and death. When populations get too big, nature seems to come in and destroy it. It's just the way it works. So when you balance yourself with, the right amount of information and technology and nature, you're balancing within yourself. So this is the biggest thing I want to get across to the solutions here, is to balance the energy within yourself. More important than anything else. And when you do that, you have a clearer mindset. You go, okay, this is going on, politics, great show, wonderful. Let's see how it works out. You see, that's what you do. That's how I do it. That's exactly what I do. And I try and stay centered as much as possible. There are days where, I have to keep really busy. Totally understand it. But I keep this inner peace. That's the key, the inner peace. All the yogis and all the master teachers of all time talk about finding this inner peace, this nirvana within yourself. And it's not mental. It's spiritual. It's energy. It is within yourself, that there's just a knowing, like, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to experience. Remember, you're making the choices and having these experiences. All of us, all we're doing in these physical suits is making choices and having experiences. That's it. Do you not see that? And the AI and the psychopaths that run this planet know that. And so they like to corral, they like to keep the population. And I'm talking about the 70% of the population that's still asleep. It's like a herd of sheep. You ever see a farmer herd, their sheep? They use the dogs there. A majority of the sheep are going to be pushed where they need to go by those dogs or by those ranchers and so on, right? This is how they treat humanity. They know how to do it. Social media, fear, pitting people against each other. And so I'm here to say, and there's many of us out there, break these patterns that are implemented, that we think are natural to us. Okay? Get back to what's real. Things that are alive are real: food, trees, birds, animals, other people, other forms of life. Realize that they're having an experience. They're alive and they're having some interaction with the system. And then find the information, do what you have to do, but don't get yourself so wrapped up in it that it causes you stress and chaos. Because a lot of people are hooked on, they've become, media junkies. They've become information junkies, and they're sitting there for hours at a time. Oh, what's going to happen now? Is Kamala going to do this? Is Trump going to do that? And these, it's all part of the system. It's all part of the system to control us. Anyway, I'm going to start taking some questions here because I'm going to, stop the presentation at a 45-minute mark because I want to give people a chance to go over to my community because I'm going to be going there. So check out the link down below for you folks that want to join. I think you'll really appreciate it. And, like I said, every week I'm on that Zoom call with everyone, and we go into what we need to go into and discuss different topics each week. And people could ask me questions. So, check out the link, check out the community. I think you'll really appreciate it. So anyway, Yaniv, I know you're in there watching. If you have some questions, from the community, I will definitely take them. Otherwise, I'm looking here and kind of scanning over some of the questions, that you might have. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes just answering questions. No one around the world gets it. This is the problem. I'm just reading these. Aloha from Hawaii. Fantastic. Can't even get a job. Create one for yourself. That's the other thing. Because the system is changing so dramatically, friends, start creating your own job. Start creating, your own income. Don't rely on the system. Remember, they want to crash the system, friends. They want a new financial system. And in order to implement that, they have to crash the old one. You see? So the person that asked me about that, I can't even get a job. Think differently. Think entrepreneur. Think how you can make money doing something that you're creative at, or look at different ways that people are making money. And it's a different mindset. When you become self-employed, it's a totally different mindset than going to a 9-to-5. Okay. So please, find, and you'll find it when you ask and you look, things will come to you. Let's see. Is there anything new that you could tell us? That's what I'm the biggest message here, Margaret, is, stay out of fear and basically, stay away from all this information, the nonsense that's coming in, you see? So, all right. So I have a question here. Do you think that they'll crash the system before the end of 2024? Sure looks that way. I would say yes, because it depends on this election process in the United States. From what I've gathered, and based on the astrology as well, because remember I said at the end of October, there's some tough alignments coming in for the United States. And that's because of Mars in Cancer. The United States is a Cancer nation, and is going to be opposing Pluto in Capricorn. This is chaos. This is energy that's very strong and chaotic. And they know when the chaos is high, that's a great time to implement their strategies. Now, to destroy the economy. So whatever happens in this election, beginning at the end of October into November, whether we even have an election, as I've said, they're going to pull the plug somehow, some way. And it could come through a power outage. It could come through a natural storm or a solar event. That seems to be the indication. Absolutely. So I'm leaning towards like 85%. That's the time frame that they want to implement it by, around the election, maybe a week or so on either side. But that's what I see them doing, pulling the plug around that time frame and going, oh, the system is down. Oh, these systems are down. And it could be just the criminal banks because they have complete control over the criminal banks. So it could be that area. It could be the voting, apparatus, the machines and all that stuff. They might just, can't vote. The power outage is out. Maybe these criminal, migrants that have come in are going to target all of the electronics and, the towers that have the power stations and so on. That's a possibility too. Again, it'll be in the major cities. And so, yes, the indication is the astrology, everything is pointing towards before the end of 2024. I'm sorry to have to say it. I hope I'm wrong, but the indication there is that by the end of 2024. There's another question here I have. What's your advice for someone who feels isolated due to their beliefs? That's a good question. Basically, if you're someone that's living in fear, you've isolated yourself. And this feeling of isolation is kind of, I hate to say it, it's kind of normal because this change that's occurring has to happen within us. In other words, the frequency vibrational change that's happening is affecting everyone on this planet, including the animals. And so when you're by yourself, you are aligning perfectly with the source within yourself. Okay. Now, these beliefs, I don't know what beliefs, one has or doesn't have. You have to, the biggest thing I want to get across to everyone is remember who you are. You're not your belief system. You're not your fears. Okay. You're not your titles. You're not your gender. You're the energy of the spirit in that suit. That's what I was shown. That's what I understood for so many years. So the belief system is that box that we put ourselves in. Okay? We put ourselves in this box. Oh, I'm Christian. Oh, I'm Jewish. Oh, I'm Muslim. I'm this, I'm that. And all of a sudden, your world becomes smaller and smaller in your own mind. So break that. Break out of that and go, okay, who am I really? Am I this body? Am I this fear? Am I my thoughts? No. Those are just things that are activated in your body based on your frequency, based on your birthday, based on your energy. So I would say if you're going to spend time in isolation, do it in the natural world around trees, plants, gardening, animals, and always meditate to yourself who you are. I realize I'm a spiritual being having this human experience. I will do the best I can. Everything will work itself out. That's what I say. So try that. All right, we have another one here. What major astrological alignments should we be aware of in September? Well, that would be the lunar eclipse on September the 17th. It's going to be very powerful because it is going to be joined by Neptune. And I did talk about this one on my last YouTube video, and I'll probably be coming out with another YouTube video real soon. And so that is a huge alignment because we're talking about the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the sign that is about compassion, understanding, creativity, love, but sometimes it could be unrealistic, fantasy prone, self-worth issues. Pisces and old zodiac is the martyr. It likes to beat itself up. Oh, I'm not good enough. Nobody loves me. This is what they do. So when we have this kind of energy coming in, those that are living in tremendous amounts of fear are going to feel it even more. My life is not worth it. I don't want to be here anymore. And the universe will start to provide options for exiting the matrix. You understand? So it's a realization. If you're aware of yourself and you understand what's going on, you use that energy in a spiritual manner. In other words, understanding who you are, but also Pisces is a water sign. I would suggest around that Pisces lunar eclipse, spend time in water, take longer baths, showers, splash water in your face throughout the day. Water is very soothing. Our body is mostly made up of water, 75% water. So it's a very tricky time because it's also about endings. Lunar eclipses represent endings. Okay, so don't forget that. Something has to change. Things are going to change. And so we're going to see how these changes occur. But remember, this is the biggest thing. You have to remember that the collective consciousness of humanity is also very powerful. This is what the psychopaths that run this planet know. That's why they keep everyone in fear. If the collective unifies and says, nope, we're not feeding into your bullshit systems. Nope, we're not shopping at your criminal entities. Nope, we're not eating your shitty food. Okay? That collective is going to be very powerful. You get it? So myself and many others out there who get it are trying to get people to raise their awareness. When we say raise the vibration, it's where your awareness, raise the awareness of who you are and how powerful you really are. And then you start to unite with other people. This is why these communities are going to continue to pop up. So anyway, I got a few more questions here before we sign off. How will September 2024 lunar eclipse in Pisces affect us spiritually? It'll bring greater awareness. Okay. This is one of the most spiritual signs in the zodiac. So we may have flashes of inspiration. We may have psychic visions. We may have dreams that are very vivid. And so you need to pay attention. But what I would suggest is 3 days before the eclipse is before you go to bed each night, go universe, higher consciousness, because you're tapping into a higher realm. Show me what I need to see. Show me what's important to me. Bring me that information. Just like that. You see how simple and direct it is? That's all you should ask for. And then go to sleep and see what happens throughout the day. See what happens in your dreams. That's how it's going to manifest itself. Okay. So remember, the biggest secret here is we are manifesting reality here based on our vibration and based on our energy. All right. Another question here. How will this Pisces eclipse impact people with strong Pisces or water sign placements in their birth chart? It'll make you more sensitive. If you already have a strong Pisces in your chart, or you have a lot of water in your chart, you're going to become more sensitive to everything. Okay, which could be a good thing, because now this is going to enhance the natural psychic ability that Pisces has. So please tune into it and stay out of fear and doubt. Okay, just get the information, go, okay, so this is coming down the road. All right, I'm going to prepare for it. I'm going to do the best I can. You see, that's how it works. Another question here. What major life shifts or decisions might be catalyzed by this lunar eclipse? Well, again, spiritual awakening, awarenesses, but more importantly, endings and completions, because lunar eclipses represent endings and completions. So what I'm suggesting is that you may realize something about your life that you can't do anymore. Like, let's say, bad eating habits, or thinking, that you're this or that, you're boxed into a certain belief system. You might have to let go of that nonsense. You see, maybe some people need to move. And so it's going to push you. When these eclipses happen, especially lunar eclipses, they nudge us into a direction. You see, so there'll be catalysts for change. And so whatever happens with the politics, the earth changes, the protests, or any of that stuff, you realize it has to be. It's a necessity for change. It's a catalyst for change. It's the energy moving us into a new direction. It's all I'm suggesting is be awake and aware and participate in the change to your own benefit and to the benefit of those around you. Got it? All right, I have another question here. Do you think there will be a pandemic in 2025? It certainly looks that way. And, because I've said this before in other videos, that they are pushing that agenda. And that new, pandemic is really about fear, but it's also about controlling the human body. Remember, whatever they're putting into these injections, there seems to have nanoparticles in there. And I've watched and listened to so many doctors and scientists, under the microscope, discovering all this. So we know that it's actually happening. We know that they are trying to create some sort of artificial humans. And so, unfortunately, they're not going to give up on creating more of these planned events and chaos. So anyway, I want to just wrap it up right now. Okay. And I'm going to get ready, give people enough time to go to the community, because that's where I'm heading right after this in a few minutes. So for those of you interested, there's a link down below to join our private community. And there's also the the numerology report, which I think you're going to find fascinating, which I did. It's down below. They give you a free version. Then you have the option to purchase one. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you, many of you, in the community in a few minutes. So head on over there and check it out. All right. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate all of you. And I'll have another video out soon on YouTube. But check out the community and the free numerology report. And so have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.